Okay. Hello, everyone. So here is someone who is
People arrive.
People arrive. This is my lovely friend Okaykuro, or Kuro. Do you just prefer Kuro?
Kuro. Yeah, Kuro's fine. Kuro's fine. Kuro.
I guess I never.
Kuro, the famous okaykuro.
Yeah. I guess this isn't a question I wrote down, but I'm curious. Is that your real name? Is there a story behind your name?
No. So this is funny. My real name. Well, everyone calls me John, right? But John isn't actually my real name.
Oh, it's
IRL.
Not. What?
My real name, IRL, is actually Elwood, like ELWOOD.
Oh, interesting.
So the reason why I don't ever, like, my friends don't even call me Elwood, like no one calls me Elwood. The reason why people don't call me Elwood is because I was bullied for my name, like back in like high school, middle school, and elementary school. So, but the thing is, like, obviously now, like, doesn't like affect me that much, so I don't really care if someone calls me Elwood. But yeah, if you ever hear anyone call me John or something, that's like my friends like on VRchat will call me John. But yeah, Kuro actually comes from Kuro Yuki Hime, which is a character from A Cell World, which is an anime, and that's where I got Kuro from. So yeah.
I hate to ask, but are you listening to music in the background? If you could just turn it off just a tiny bit, just because it's bleeding through your mic.
Wait.
Not that I don't want you to listen to music or be comfy. It's just
wait, there you go. That's better. No, I have my voice meter on. I had the voice meter input on because I was dancing.
Yeah.
For dancing. So, there you go. That should be better.
So I mean, you've been dancing for a while, but I personally, and I don't know if this is true for you, but I think maybe. But I know you. When I think about you, I do think about somebody who really dedicated themselves to dancing and is super passionate about it. But when I also think about you, I think about the NFFC, which I always tell people, and I'm not blowing smoke or anything. I genuinely think it's one of the coolest things that anyone I know has started. And I think it's something so important. And I think it's I don't know, do you want to explain what NFFC is for anyone who doesn't know?
Yeah. Alright, so the NFFC stands for the No Friends Friends Club, which is a club that I founded on VRchat. Essentially, we are a anti-social social club. So we help people who have or who suffer from social anxiety or from any kind of inability to interact with people, who, whatever it is, like that holds them back. It's a confidence issue, or they don't think they're interesting, or whatever. It's essentially a gathering of people, or a club on VRchat, where we all congregate on Fridays at 10 p.m. And we'll like play games. We'll talk about what they did throughout the week. We'll like have events. Like we have a homecoming that's coming up, not this weekend but the weekend after. So on the 19th is our homecoming, which is like we have school homecomings and whatnot. We actually have our own map, which is currently broken because I broke it on accident. But we do all sorts of kinds of events. We had a Halloween party for Halloween, stuff like that. And right now we have about 300 something members, like 350 members.
That's crazy.
But every week we get around like 30 people or so that show up. And it's not like a thing you have to show up every single week. It's like people will show up for a little bit, and then maybe they'll come back like a couple weeks later. But then we have other people who've been here like every single week. We have ambassadors, who are people that like have been a part of the club for a long time, and like they are people that people can go to and like ask questions or whatever. Or like, let's say you don't know anybody there, you can always talk to an ambassador to like kind of learn a little bit more about the club. And I teach the classes, so when we have lectures and stuff, I'll talk about the ways that you can improve your ability in socializing, or just like kind of mental health assistance. So yeah, that's the No Friends Friends Club. That's every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern.
And how long have you been doing this now? Quite a while, right?
Yeah, so I've been doing it since I started my streaming on January 21st, but I started NFFC 2 weeks after that.
Wow.
So it's been about, I think we were on like week like 46 or something like that, week 46 or 47. So we've been doing it for quite a while, and we haven't missed a week yet, so it's been really good.
Yeah. did anything prompt you to want to start a club like that? Is it something you've thought about for a while, or you just kind of had the idea out of nowhere and just started it, or?
So initially, when I first started streaming, I had kind of this like motive to be a little bit different than like other streams, right? I don't want to like do, I guess, what everyone does. I don't want to like, I don't want to like, I want something that set me aside, I guess. And all my life I've kind of been, I guess, really, I guess like observing a lot of things. And I've always been really like, I guess, like professional when it comes to certain things, and like I've always been really, really, really into like mental health and into helping people. And I remember that when I was younger, I always like I had a really difficult time making friends when I was younger. Really difficult time. Like I had maybe like two or three friends, but like the only way I became friends with them was because like because it just happened, right? I never like went out of my way to ever like meet someone or like make friends with someone. And even that even moved into my like even bled itself into my adult life, or like making friends is really hard for me still, like still today. So with all that in mind, I thought about how cool it would be to have a place where the objective was to make friends, right? Because like you go to a party, you go to school, you go to work or whatever, no one's there essentially like to make friends, right? No one's objective right there at the moment is to make friends, right? So in order to make the friends, you have to have some sort of like thing in common. You have to some sort of interaction that's going to accelerate into a friendship conversation, or a conversation that's going to involve you into a friendship. But if you have a place where from day one and from moment one the objective is to make friends there, and everyone's in that mindset, it's kind of like, how can you lose, right? How can you walk out of that place without meeting someone? So with all that in mind, I kind of started this idea of the club, and there's actually an anime as well called Haganai, which is their club is called the No Friends Club, and that idea is what I combined together into creating the VRchat version of the No Friends Club. And we started off with like literally it was like maybe like 6 of my friends and one person I didn't know who they were, but there were 6 of my friends who came to the very first club meeting. And I used to like sit up there and like I'm like, okay everybody, hi guys, welcome, and I was like super like shy and everything, but it's evolved into this whole thing where I'm like screwing around with the people in the club and they're making fun of me or whatever, and like they'll come join me during the week or whatever. It's just evolved into like such an amazing thing now, to where like we've accomplished like so many things, and the amount of new faces I see every week is that's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I mean, the people who are in it, I remember watching your birthday video, which was a little while ago, but there are people who just really adore you so much and are so thankful just to have a place to meet friends and to overcome some of their social anxiety, or to work on some aspect of this, or to just come and relax and like not have to really worry. And I guess what's another question? Okay, so when someone comes to your club, I guess you have a different topic every week that you kind of talk about, right?
Yeah. So I guess with the way the topics work, so it's something that we kind of moved away from a while. I would say maybe like 7 or 8 weeks ago. If you were to come to a class before then, it would be a lecture. It would be you'd be there. We'd be talk about a specific topic, whatever it was. Like for instance, we'd have like how to converse with people. We'd have like how to deal with your self-confidence. How to fill up your free time, healthy ways of doing it. Like we'd have a specific topic for the week. I kind of changed the format of the way I run the class, because I thought to myself, I was like, this information is great, right? This is great information. This is nice. It's good to talk about it, but no one gets to interact with each other in these classes. We're all just kind of sitting there and talking. So I didn't feel like I was hitting the target that I wanted, which was to do stuff together, like have fun with each other, get to know each other on a personal level, not me beat the person in the center of the room just talking to you guys. And why, like I said, like while the information was really great and what I felt like my message was heard, I didn't feel like they had opportunities to apply it. Like if you learn how to drive a race car and you don't want a race car, you can't drive it, right? So I moved away from that, and I started to do very short, very, very, very short follow-ups with everybody every week where we just quickly talk about how their life was going, if they had anything they want to share, and I would give them kind of just a message, of something that I've experienced out that week where it was like kind of a food for thought thing, and then we would do games together. So for the past past month or two, we've been kind of moving towards games and hangouts and having fun together instead of sitting in a classroom setting and learning about things. But occasionally we'll still do like classroom setting things, or just like if someone wants to have a quick lecture or want to listen to something, then that'll be what we do for that week.
Do you think I mean, you've been doing this for close to a year now. Do you think it's helped you with your own social anxiety, or helped you with
So that's actually a really good question, because when I first thought of this idea, I was like, wait a second, I don't even have the best social skills in the world. I don't even make friends. I still don't make good friends to this day. I'm still not good at that kind of thing. So
yeah.
What it has helped me with is my confidence. And I believe that confidence has helped me talk to people which I wouldn't have normally talked to. So I don't know if you know what VRCon is, but VRCon is virtual convention, and it's yada yada yada. There's a ton of people that show up, and I had a panel on VRCon where I was on a stage and I was talking to people, and that's the first time ever in my life where I had to where I had the attention of 300, 500 people at a time. And that they were there to listen to me talk. And stream is one thing, but to have an hour window where you're supposed to tell people exactly what the club is about and show them what it's about, where you're actually trying to complete an objective, where a message that you're trying to say is getting received, is it was a huge deal for me. And I remember like moments up to that speech, or that that panel that I was hosting, I was like sitting in the ball. They had this giant ball I was sitting in. I was waiting for for them to open it up, and I was gonna talk to everybody. I was like shaking how nervous I was. I was so like scared. I had my mic unmuted to my chat, and they could hear me for a bit, and they're like, "Kuro, you're breathing really heavily." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, I'm sorry," and I had to like, mute myself. But I remember thinking about the club and thinking about, this is something that I've wanted to do for a really long time. This is something that I've really put a lot of thought into, and it's really, really special to me, because there's just nothing like this right now. There's just nothing there's nothing that I have ever seen where it's like something like this exists. And that kind of confidence that when you own something that belongs to you and it's like special to you, it's like it gives you this whole like new reformation inside yourself. It's just like, oh my gosh, this is so special. And that gave me a lot of passion to be able to walk up there and just like nail it. And the first like couple minutes I was like pretty nervous, but then everything started kicking in. I started thinking about I've done this many times before in the class, like I've done this tons of times before. So it just all kicked in, and then I delivered a really nice panel. It was awesome. We ended up getting like 100 members just in that day alone. Oh
my gosh. Yeah,
I think that in the social aspect, I learned something new at pretty much every class, where I'm talking. We have people who in our class who are autistic. We have like 3 people who suffer from autism in our class, and I'm not familiar with dealing with people who have autism or talking to people on the spectrum. But having the class gives me that experience to be able to talk to them and to interact with them and be able to develop those social skills of something that you wouldn't normally be able to expose yourself to. It takes an extra interaction to be able to talk to people who have autism, or to learn a little bit more about it, educate yourself about it. So in that way, I do grow a lot using the club.
What's something that you've learned in terms of like or maybe some general advice you might give to people when they're super nervous and they're like, how do I make a friend? I'm really bad at socializing. Do you have like general advice for people just starting out? Like, yeah,
so I would say I have a few things. So I'd say for starters is no one is telling that you have to make friends. That's number one. Everyone always thinks like, I have to make friends. I have to make friends with people. I have to. You're gonna meet people in your life where you're just not gonna be friends with. It's gonna happen all the time. You're gonna meet people that you just don't click with, right?
Yeah.
If you force yourself into a friendship that's uncomfortable, or that you don't know a lot about them, or that you don't really want to be friends with them, you're gonna put a lot more pressure on yourself. And it's gonna make things a lot more difficult later down the line when you meet someone that you do really want to be friends with, right? You might get PTSD where you're like, oh my god, this person before, I had a person screw me over or whatever, right? Like, I don't know if I want to be friends with this person, but like, so it's going to cause a lot of complications. So number one is you don't have to be friends with everyone. No one says you have to. If you do, great, right? If you do, it's awesome. But don't let that pressure of I have to be friends with this person way over your head. You will meet people where you just have short interactions, short acquaintance moments where you aren't the best of friends, but you're still, on great grounds. So, get that idea out of your head. And number two, and everyone's going to tell you this, is be yourself, right? Being yourself is the most important part, because if you aren't yourself, if you're not being genuine, if you're trying to be someone's friend just because you want to be friends with them and you start to fit into the mold that they're looking at you as instead of your own mold, then you're going to have to change. You're changing your whole personality to them, right? So you're essentially lying to them in a way where, let's say, like, they like Dragon Ball Z a lot, but you want to be their friend, so you go, oh yeah, I love Dragon Ball Z, but you've never seen an episode of Dragon Ball Z in your life. You have this whole, you're pretty much an imposter, and it's really, it's not going to feel natural to you. So make friends in a natural way. Don't force yourself into a friendship where you have to be something. And if someone else is also changing to be your friend as well, acknowledge that as well. And the last thing, I guess, would be when it comes to like being shy and whatnot, is on VRchat, and specifically, and if you don't play VRchat, and it's kind of harder to put this into retrospect, but on VRchat, there are wonderful ways of making friends. And the most amazing thing in VRchat is that there are hundreds and thousands of worlds that you can go to, where, let's say, you feel awkward, or you do something stupid, or you feel like you had a bad interaction with someone, you can leave. You can up and leave whenever you want. You press the respawn button and you start all over again. And you can go to another world. And you can go to another world, and you'll never see that person ever again. So it's a great place to practice your social skills. It's a great place to begin to, I guess, exercising your social abilities. So if I want to go and have a conversation with someone that I don't even know, I would just go to a great pug or whatever and just say hello. And like, let's say I already feel really weird, or I don't like them, or I'm not feeling a good vibe from them, you can just leave, right? No one's stopping you. Whereas in real life, if you were to walk away, it would be kind of strange. You utilize the resources around you, VRchat being a really, really great one on those.
And speaking of which, I've heard you talk about this a couple of times, but well, first of all, let me ask you this first. What are some of the things that you love about VR in terms of being able to make friends that are unique to VR compared to real life?
So I think what's the most amazing about VR is that there is not a single person that when you meet them that's going to judge you based off your appearance. So in the real world, you are in a skin that you cannot take off. You're in a body that you cannot change. You're in a face that you can't morph, right? But in VRchat, and I actually made this comparison on stream yesterday, where I was talking about how, when you meet someone in VRchat, is your first instinct, or I want to talk to this person because they're attractive? We're all incredibly attractive in our avatars, right? We're all super cute or super good looking, right? But if you're to meet someone on VRchat whom you didn't find interesting, or you didn't like them because their personality was like not the greatest, you didn't like their personality, right? Their look doesn't triumph that, right? It's not like you see them, it's like, oh, they look really great, but I hate their personality, but I still want to be friends with them because they look really great, right? But in VRchat, if they're using a really cruddy, weird looking avatar, right? But they have an awesome personality, like, you still want to be friends with them, right? Because of their personality. So that is living proof of personality is way more important than appearances, right? Because we are all insanely attractive in VRchat based off our avatars, but you still pick and choose who you want to be friends with based off the personalities. Whereas opposed in real life, where that can get kind of skewed, and where appearances can really start to overpower a lot of our personalities. But on VRchat, we get to meet raw personalities. We get to meet who someone exactly is, how they're behaving. It's not like we are judging them based off their appearance. So it kind of takes this skin that we live in real life that kind of cages a lot of us out, and kind of lets us understand what it's like to be a personality, and then we can incorporate that into our real life. Because I'm not saying that VRchat should be like an escape from the reality of, like, the way you look. Like, you should be happy with the way you look, but maybe you can utilize VRchat as a way to gain confidence in real life to where you can be comfortable in the skin that you live in and understand that your personality, you know, is beautiful, and it's what really shines through when you get to meet someone. So in that aspect, VRchat has a way of bringing out a lot in people. That's why a lot of people will be like, you know, oh my gosh, I learned so much about someone, or oh my gosh, this person I've only known for 2 days, I know them so well. Because a lot of that comes out when you're in VR. A lot of that personality in yourself that you might not have known ends up developing a lot more. So that's my favorite part about VRchat.
Yeah, that's such an interesting point. That last thing you just said, the personality you might not have been aware of, or parts of you that might have been dormant, are able to come out in VR. I know Walter has a great quote that I love, which is something like, you know, VR gave him an opportunity to see what he was capable of socially. Thinking about, and I mean, let me ask you this: how has VR affected you personally? Would you say, like, I'm assuming it's for the better, maybe it's for the worse in some aspects,
so,
but yeah.
Let's see. So I started playing VRchat in December of 2017, which is where a lot of VRchat veterans have like came around, because that was during the Knuckles era. And anyone who's in here just means it's still around or whatever. But during that year of my life was the worst year period ever. It was so bad. It was really bad. And essentially when I started playing VRchat, I was like, man, this is amazing. Like it was like one of the first things I was like happy about and like excited to sense, you know. You know, so I guess for context reasons, I had broke up with my girlfriend of 3.5 years that year in June. And from June to December, I quit my job. I worked 2 jobs and I quit them both. And I essentially sat in my room for that 6-month period where I was just living off my saved up money, right? I'd pay my rent, I'd order Chinese food, order McDonald's for like 6 months straight. And then when I found VRchat, it's like a lot of things changed for me. When I started playing, I played in like desktop mode for maybe like all of like 3 or 4 days, and then I like instantly ordered my mixed reality headset on Amazon because I met these like awesome people who are so funny, and like I was like, this is the greatest game ever, this is awesome. And like once I found out you could be an anime girl, I was like, I'm locked in, I gotta get this right now. So then I bought the mixed reality, and then I was like, man, this sucks, I need to get a Vive. So like a couple weeks later I bought a Vive. So I ended up like pretty much double downing on VRchat. And this is actually something a lot of people don't know. So this is an exclusive Kuro lore.
Okay.
So I currently live with a roommate whom I met on VRchat.
Awesome.
So when I ended up running out of money, because again I didn't work when I was playing VRchat and sticking all these hours in the VRchat, I would play almost 24 hours, and I would be in VR, I would eat food, I would sleep, I would do everything in VR. And I got close to where I was like running out of money, and I was like, all right, so I'm running out of money. I'm gonna be evicted from my apartment soon. You know, I don't really have any plans here. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do myself. And like I wasn't gonna move back with my dad. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So pretty much, you know, I was screwed. I was like screwed. And I had this friend whose name is Nasty Nelf, who's my roommate right now, who found out about, you know, my situation. And he's like, you know, I got a place up here in New York. You wanna, like, I really use a roommate. Like, I don't live with anybody, you know, whatever. Like, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Why not? So that night, I packed up all my stuff. I couldn't fit some certain things into my Jeep, so I left like my bed frame, my shelf. That was a ton of stuff behind. I was like, yeah, that's collateral for you know the times I've missed rent or whatever to my current roommates at the time. And I drove all the way up to New York with $50 in my pocket. That was just for gas. Wow. And I ended up moving in with my roommate, and I've been living with him for almost 4 years now. But wow. So yeah, it's been
okay. No, I'm sorry, I was just doing the math. So yeah, this is right when you first started playing.
Oh
VR.
yeah.
You were in VR.
Though, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I moved up here in April of 2018. So I moved here in April of 2018. So it's been pretty insane. So when you ask kind of what has VRchat done for me, it's literally given me a second opportunity.
Yeah.
literally giving me a second opportunity. And a lot of people will say that. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, VRchat saved my life, whatever."
Yeah.
But it literally did. I had no plan, no plan whatsoever.
Yeah.
After I ran out of money, I had literally no plan, and I ended up finding someone who took me in and got me back up on my feet, and here I am now. So, and then you could go over how many times I've made insanely important friends to me, and how many moments I've had in VR where I've been like, oh my god, like things aren't that bad or whatever. But that is like the ultimate thing that's been the reason why I guess I'm still here is because of that. So yeah.
That's amazing. Have you met? I know you said you met your roommate, but have you met any other people from VR in real life?
Yes. So I met another VRchat veteran who has like 22,000 hours, which is like way more than I do. His name is Joker. I met him in real life at a meetup with another person named Doomvor and Iron Jew. I don't know if you know who the Iron Jew is. I met
know Iron.
with him
Not
as
well,
well.
but yeah. Nice guy.
Yeah, so along with that group of people, we met up once in Atlantic City. All went gambling and stuff. It was so much fun. And that was for like 4 days. But I think that's the only people I've ever met up in VRchat with. So
Okay.
it's been nice.
Do you plan on meeting people in the future? I mean, I'd imagine you're open to it. It's kind of hard right
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah.
Last couple of years.
Yeah. Last couple of years definitely has been tough. Obviously right now I feel like there's not nearly as many restrictions anymore because like I'm fully vaccinated and like a lot of people I know are fully vaccinated. It's like like TwitchCon next year, like when TwitchCon comes around next year, like the plan is to like just like I don't even know, it's gonna be so much fun. Like have like such a ridiculous amount of
I'm really
it's gonna be amazing. We had an insane meetup with like everyone. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that is gonna
but
be
that's
so
the one thing I'm mainly looking forward to is TwitchCon.
Yeah.
Like I wanna just like go crazy, like go out and party, like so much fun with everyone from VR. So
I have a couple of we're on this conversation, but let me pull up a question I was gonna ask you. This is so random, but I'm just kind of curious all of a sudden, and maybe this has probably changed as you've gotten older and maybe been in VR. But what was did you have like a dream when you were younger, like what you wanted to be or what you wanted? Was it to be an anime girl in VR, or was it to probably not? But
so basically, did I expect me to be here right now doing this? No.
Same.
No, I did not. I didn't. This is like if I was like, man, this is what I'm gonna be doing. However, when I was younger, I was always like on this idea of like, man, like I've always been into video games, like for like all my life, I've been into video games.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with video games. And there were like a lot of things that have always crossed my mind. Like I've always wanted to travel the world on a boat. Like that's something I've always wanted to do. And a lot of the things that I've like been objectively after. Oh my gosh! My headset freaks out when I'm.
No problem.
So a lot of things that I objectively weren't really occupations, if that makes sense. So when I was way younger, I was like, man, I would just kill to have like an apartment and a TV and an Xbox and a computer and whatever, and I'd be totally cool with that. And I just want to do that for the rest of my life, which is what I'm doing now, right? That's basically what I'm doing now. Yeah, it's literally, I'm literally living my dream. When I was a kid, this is all I wanted. I wanted an apartment where I could eat whatever I want, do whatever I want, play whatever I want, whenever I want, go to bed. Like it's just that's what I wanted to do. And essentially, I'm living the dream. I'm living the dream right now.
Yeah.
But as an occupational aspect, I took AP Computer Science in high school, and when I was like realistically thinking about my career, like I've always wanted to like design games and stuff, which I feel like is a lot of time people go through that. Like a lot of people who are into video games are like, yeah, I would kill to make my own video game.
Yeah.
But I learned that I wasn't really enjoying, I guess like, coding a whole lot. Like I love the way coding helps you think and stuff, but for me it was like, man, this is constantly hurting my brain when I'm trying to figure things out. Like, are constantly like making me freaking my head hurt, and I would hate to like be in this kind of path where I have a headache every single day, or I'm like trying to think about something every single day like that. Because my brain already like moves a mile a minute as it is. Like it's already like constantly freaking out and whatever. So having like that kind of career on top would be like really, really stressful for me. So I ended up like not really pursuing that anymore. But yeah, no, this is not where I expected to be, but it's good. It's really good.
But you're living your dream, and I totally relate to that. When I was a kid, that's all I wanted to, just my own place and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
be able to
Like
do whatever I
this is
want.
it.
Um, and like I when I first was in VR, you're just mentioning like, oh, this is what I want. I mean, like this. Well, I guess that's what I felt. I was like, I didn't even know I wanted this and I needed this in my life. But like the first week, I was just
Mm.
staring at myself and being like, I don't know. I had this really warm feeling, like I finally sort of found my place, I guess. And I was meeting people, and I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
this is amazing. I felt just part of that super lonely feeling kind of started to go away. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, I guess I was gonna ask you also. Let's see. Well, you mentioned this a lot, and maybe you have some more to say, but I know you have your apartment and your roommate, but how else has your life changed since you started being in VR or doing NFFC or streaming? Can you think of any tangible things?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
I failed to really mention this earlier, but like when I was younger, and you know, I say younger as in like, you know, a few years ago,
Yeah.
just a few years ago, I was like always in this like really 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 bad mental state, like just not like really not good. Like I don't want to get too
Yeah.
into it because I don't want this to be
Fair,
like a
yeah,
sad
yeah.
interview or
Yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah.
no, I was in like a really bad place,
Yeah.
and like I wouldn't talk. I just wouldn't talk. Like this, the most right just now is the most talking I would do over the course of like a month, right?
Yeah.
So I just like wasn't this person who would ever like talk to anyone. I just like even now I still kind of struggle to talk to people, but like
Mm.
I wouldn't ever go out of my way to talk to anyone. And I like, you know, hated everything. I hated everyone. I hated like, you know, all aspects of life.
Yeah.
And I guess like when this is, I would say, more like an impact that streaming has had on me than more, well, it'd be kind of an extension of VRchat. But once I started streaming, I think with over the first like couple of days, I was like, man, this is really fun. This is really good. This is really really interesting. This is awesome. And I would like go back and watch and be like, oh, this is so funny, like whatever. And I started like realizing, man, I'm looking forward to streaming today. I'm looking forward to like talking to the 3 people that I was talking to today or whatever. I can't wait to see them back today and be like, yo, what's up, guys? and I feel like that's how everyone starts out streaming. They get really excited about it. But when I realized that like I was like happy, and the happiest I'd been in like a really long time, I like started like, you know, coming with all these ideas and all these things, and like started meeting all these people and whatnot, and things started moving really quickly. And I feel like that and this is, I say it's often, is I haven't been alive since January, since the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I have been like asleep. I've been like dead. I've just been like not here. I think my brain was not turned on until the beginning of this year. So 24 years of my life, I'm 25 now, 24 years of my life were just like gone, you know, where I until streaming, until VRchat, like I just kind of didn't exist. And then once all this started happening, it's just, I just started like realizing like all these things about me. Like I started learning like, man, I live like this. I really don't like this. Like, you know, I want to do this with my life. And like, it's like without VRchat, without streaming, without that whole, you know, side of me, I just like would still be this like dead, you know, melancholy humdrum person who just like doesn't want to do anything at all ever. And I still have those days. It's not like I'm instantly not like that anymore. I still have those days where I'm just like really blah and whatever. But it's like I'm like awoken, I guess. Like this whole part of me just like completely alive now. And you know, I wouldn't have gotten there without VRchat.
It's amazing and incredibly relatable. It's like once you're super passionate about something, in this case streaming and VR, just everything just sort of maybe not makes sense, but like
once you have a mission.
Yeah, you sort of have like a mission, and you
it's
sort
like
of like yeah, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're sort of for
yeah.
me.
It's like
go ahead.
you like get this you know your path, right? You understand like there's no like fog anymore. It's just like I know what I need to be doing kind of thing.
Yeah. What do you how do you feel about like affection in VR in terms of like little things like cuddling and head pats?
So I love head pats. I love head pats. I will admit that.
Can I give you a
love
head
pats.
pat?
I like hunt. Yeah. So I hunt headpats big time. And I guess like when it comes like other affection and stuff like that, like I'm very conservative. I guess I'm pretty conservative. Only because I like to treat my virtual space kind of like my IRL space. So obviously my boyfriend, so whatever, I'll kiss him, hug him, whatever. Cuddle with him, whatever. But it's kind of like the idea where like I want to not only like respect other people, but kind of respect myself too. I don't know.
No,
Like,
yeah,
obviously,
that's fair.
there's nothing wrong with cuddling. There's nothing wrong with that and everything. But I think that like a lot of people on VR like use VR as a way of excuse for consent, if that makes sense. Where you know, they might not be sure if that person's like comfortable with like you coming with a headband, and I'm sure if they're comfortable with like hugging or whatever. And obviously people always ask and whatever, and it's totally fine. But there are a lot of people out there who will push the boundaries and really push the line and think that something's okay when it's really not, and that person might feel uncomfortable. And like it's really tough when you're in that position where you're uncomfortable to speak up. Like, don't know if I'm okay with that, right? So I'm pretty conservative. I would definitely put myself in the conservative category, but it doesn't mean I don't like cuddling. I love cuddling and I love headpats and all that. So, but that's just my opinion on it.
I was curious because I think that's, for me personally, that's one of my favorite things about VR. Maybe not like, you know, the super sexual stuff is a different topic for me, but it's things like headpats and like being able to headpat someone you just met maybe like a few minutes ago or even a few seconds ago, or like giving people a hug and cuddling and just sort of doing that for hours and hours and hours. Like, I'm sure you've had a time where you've just cuddled in front of a mirror and like gotten pats and like fallen asleep.
Many times.
And it's so, for me, it's so nice, and it's like,
it's really comforting. It's really comforting.
And I love that. I actually recently, one of my best friends since I was like 12 years old, she just got a Quest 2, and I was introducing her to a couple people, and like initially I forgot like how foreign a concept head patting is to people who like who don't know. You know?
It's kind of like using your hands to talk in VR when you go in real life and you're like doing all these hand things. Someone's like, "What the hell are you doing?" Head patting is like, because a lot of people will like do this like in real life because they hear head pat and pat, they gotta pat their head, so they start doing that freaking pancake slapping your head. So
she ended up getting it though by the end of the night. After a couple, I was like, "Oh, okay, I see what you mean." Like, it's just it's kind of sweet.
They catch on. They catch on quick.
So, I guess a random question, and you don't have to answer this if you're not comfortable. But have you? I feel like I know the answer to this because I know who you're dating. But have you fallen in love? No, have you fallen in love in VR before?
Falling in love in VR. That's a good one. Yeah, definitely. And it's funny because I'm not someone who's like really quick to fall in love either. I like to believe I'm pretty like I use the word experience, but that doesn't mean I had a lot of girlfriends or a lot of boyfriends. I like to be my experience because I've been in long relationships before, and I understand like, you know, the layers and how deep the, you know, iceberg goes when it comes to relationships. So I take love really seriously. I take it really seriously. And I'm pretty cautious on how I use that word. Like, even if I'm in love with someone, it's not like every day where I'm like, "Oh, I love you so much, I love you so much, I love you so much," whatever. I used to use it very scarcely because the worst thing that you want is to be like desensitized to the word. And a lot of people throw it around. A lot of people like to throw it around a lot, and it's nothing wrong with that. I get it. Like, love is seen in all different eyes, and there's no one way of what love means. But I think it's funny. Like, how could you fall in love with someone that you haven't even seen? But that brings me back to the whole personality thing, where I talked about, like, you know, your appearance and how your personality is always going to triumph appearance, where you could look like a freaking foot, but you could be the funniest, most interesting person ever, you know, and that's no one's gonna care. So, I think that's totally normal and perfectly fine falling in love in VRchat. And then I would say that, yeah, that's definitely happened to me. Definitely.
What do you think are some of the most important parts of a relationship, either a friendship or someone you're dating? For instance, like communication or... Sorry, go ahead.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad that you said friends too. Because I always, when I hear the word relationship, I feel like a lot of people think like instantly think dating, right? Yeah, relationships always include your friendship.
Right.
So I think the most important thing for when it comes to relationships is understanding your self-worth. Where a lot of people, instead of looking outward and looking at the other person and being like, I have to be like attentive to them, I have to be yourself. You're the most important thing when it comes to your relationships and your friendships. You have to prioritize yourself, because if you start to do things for like, let's say you don't consider how you feel about something, and this is something that Sweet has also put his, in case you don't know, Sweet's my boyfriend, whatever, blah blah, that he also puts into what reinforces on, is that when you are constantly disregarding yourself and constantly doing things for other people, you start to create this barrier of resentment, because you're always choosing them over yourself, right? So let's say you want to eat bananas, right? But your partner's like, no, I want oranges, right? Eventually you're going to resent them at some point because you never get your bananas, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So when it comes to friendships as well, like if your friends are always the one picking the game, always one picking what to do, you start to not feel like you have a worth in that friendship, where even if they say like, hey, what do you want to do, because you're so used to doing what they want to do, you're gonna be like, oh, I don't really care, what do you want to do? So in any kind of relationship, any kind of friendship, dating thing, always prioritize yourself. Always put your wants and interests on a level. It doesn't have to always come first. It's like, no, I don't want to be like, you have to be selfish about it, but acknowledge what you want, acknowledge your interests, acknowledge that you have value, and that you can't just be a person that's always giving. You can't just give everything. You have to sometimes learn how to receive, and learn how to take a point where you're like, you think to yourself, well, what do I want, right? So I think that's like the most critical thing when it comes to your relationships and friendships.
Well, this is just a random question. Do you cook?
I love cooking. I cook all the time.
Yeah, what did you
all
cook
the time?
today?
I do.
Did you cook anything today?
A BLT sandwich.
Oh, those
yeah,
are
a BLT
so
sandwich,
good.
but it was a very
BLTs.
sad one because I was missing my egg and avocado. So
that sounds so good.
It was sad. Yeah, we like sweet made one too today. Like we'll make them together. And like I didn't have any eggs or avocados, so it was just BLT, sprouts, and like this garlic aioli sauce that I had.
That sounds so good.
So yeah, that was my lunch.
I bring that up because when I first watched your video, or the very first time I watched your stream, you were like just gushing about food and like gushing about things you could get in New York and like salmon skin hand rolls. Like, oh, I love salmon skin hand rolls. I was like, yeah, it's very...
I love food. I'm like a huge foodie.
Yeah.
But that's why Sweet and I get along so well, because he's a foodie too. So we talk about food.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is such a hard question whenever someone asks me this, but what is one, maybe not the most delicious thing, unless you can name the most delicious thing, but what's one of the most delicious things you've either made or had at a restaurant? Or
let me think. That's a hard one. So I'm gonna think of like the most memorable moment of like food life.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was on this cruise one time when I was younger. Do you know what escargot is? It's like snail. Yeah. It's like snails. I'll try anything. There's like nothing I won't try. And I always say there's only one thing I don't like to eat, and it's blue cheese. I hate blue cheese.
Oh yeah.
There's the one thing I don't like. I will literally eat anything else. Literally, you name it, I will eat it. But blue cheese is just disgusting. But my dad was like, yeah, it's snails, and I was on this cruise, and he's like, you should try it. And I have not had something that's tasted as good as that, and I don't know how long.
Really?
Like I can't.
I've never actually
It's just
tried
such a unique flavor.
Everyone
Oh my god, it
goes
tastes like
crazy
freaking boogers. It's like...
Oh, really?
It's got the texture of boogers and like garlic. It's like... It's so nasty. But
it's so nasty.
It's like
okay, so it wasn't good.
No, it's good. No, it was good. It was like it's nasty, but like in a good. It's hard to explain. It's nasty in a good way.
Okay.
It has like a texture of freaking boogers.
Yeah.
But it's like salty and buttery and creamy. It's so weird. It's like the texture is the one thing that's kind of hard to get over. But I had like 4 plates of escargot that night, and I have yet to have escargot ever again. That's the only time I've ever had it. So it was amazing.
Well, I guess there's a couple things now. I'm pretty much done with Well, I guess I have one last question. Well, not in general, just from this list that I made, and then I have some other questions that I thought of. But
Yeah, no, take me away.
one of the hardest things for me, and I'm really, really, let me just say, I'm really happy that we're talking. I missed you, and I'm sorry that we haven't been talking more. I genuinely mean that, and I know
Oh,
the first time or one of the first times we talked, like you, not, yeah, I don't think you mentioned any names in particular, but you were like, one of the things that maybe you're not maybe not scared of, but that you didn't want to do was like become a streamer and then like abandon your non-streamer friends or whatever if you saw people sort of like
yeah.
um reach a certain point and sort of like you
Hmm.
don't see them again. But how do you, because this is something that's
Yeah.
really hard for me and it's something I'm really trying to actively work on more lately, which is how do you balance your social life with your work? I mean, you're a full-time streamer now, or are you working? You're a
Yeah.
full-time
Yeah.
streamer
Yeah.
now.
Full time stream.
So how do you
Hmm.
balance your stream with your social life and obviously, your boyfriend too? Like, is it a challenge for you? Do you have like a good structure
So
that you have,
I
or?
think I think a lot of times people look at that and they're like, or look at like the balance, like, oh yeah, well I have so much time, right? I stream for a couple hours, but wait, I have all this time in the day that I could be spending on hanging out with friends and whatnot, right? But
Mm-hmm.
people forget the other measurement, which is energy, right? How much
Yeah.
energy do you have left of doing with something? You might have a lot of time, but your energy is also really important. Where people don't think about it a lot, but streaming takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of
Right. Yeah.
brain power, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't look like it. It really doesn't look like it. But when
It
I was
so
like started streaming,
does.
I didn't really think about that. It really does
Yeah.
take a lot of brain energy because you have to like.
Yeah.
It's like having a conversation with each person in your chat
I
separately, individually,
know.
and your brain has to
Yeah.
categorize it, and then it has to
Yeah.
access this like database that has each of your viewers like in its own category. Where like oh, this is one of these viewers. Oh, this is someone who came back. So your brain has to like
Yeah.
kind of work really really hard. So when it comes to balance, it's how much energy do you have to conserve for interactions with people that aren't in your streaming career or streaming life, right? For me, like some of my closest friends right now are other streamers, like Ron, Sweet,
Yeah.
and we do a lot of things on stream together, like like hanging out or whatnot. We play the games together on Fridays and stuff. But as far as the friends who are outside of the, I guess like streaming community or outside of, like the whole like streaming career life, it does become pretty difficult because your energy levels are a lot different. And it's kind of, you could apply that to anything, right? You could apply it to any career. Let's say you worked a job in your life that takes up a lot of your lifetime and you can't get that social time. Time off. Time off is really important. So having that day to kind of reset where you can like do something, or like maybe it's like play some games. So I play Apex with a couple of my friends that aren't really in like the streaming community. We play Apex all the time. So devoting time to that, to where you are like, okay, let's say I start my day with doing something with them, that way my energy is like levels are full, and then I can like use whatever reserves for stream later on. So that's kind of like a priority kind of thing, to how much energy again do you want to put into something versus the other thing. And I think that it's always a trial and error kind of thing, because it does take time, and you never want the kind of friends who, where let's say you are streaming a lot and you don't have a lot of time for them, you don't have a lot of energy for them. You don't want the friends who are gonna like guilt trip you, who are gonna be like,
Yeah.
you have been spending so much time streaming and you don't have any time for me, right? You want friends that are gonna be supportive. So
Yeah.
once you have those kind of friends that kind of show their head and say like, you don't spend enough time on us stuff, and they're not kind of understanding what you're doing, that's also where it can become kind of difficult, where you have to learn where to be like, okay, I can't handle this kind of the way you're treating me, right? I can't handle the way that you're interacting with me, and I don't have the energy to kind of like compensate and hang out with you just because you're feeling upset about it. I want to be able to hang out with you on my terms, where I want to hang out and like I want to have a fun time and stuff. So I think that it does also take having the proper friends who are understanding of your career and understanding of like what you're doing, to help mitigate a lot of the pressure of handling both things at the same time.
That's really good advice. Actually, I've definitely had, that's great advice. Definitely had people guilt trip me and stuff. Not too many, but
Yes. Oh yeah.
but yeah, just thinking of
It'll
it that
definitely
way.
happen, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um. Yeah. So I guess some other things I want to talk to you about. So you're obviously super into dancing. now, and
I do like
you
dancing.
do
I
like
do like
dancing. What
dancing.
inspired you in the beginning
Nice.
to like? Were you watching other streamers? Were you always into dance? Or were you like something you always wanted
So
to do?
I have
Or
never been in a dance ever.
yeah, okay,
Never, ever, ever. That's the
interesting.
last thing I
Yeah,
ever expect myself to be into, right?
yeah,
But I've always loved music.
yeah.
I've always loved music, and I've always loved drama, like being dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been into those two things, right? So what do you get when you put music and drama together? You know,
Yeah,
dance.
yeah.
You get expression, you get emotion and stuff. And when I would watch, like when I first discovered VRchat dancing, I saw this guy named Ron. I was like, oh my god, who knows Ron?
Right.
I might make fun of him, don't worry, he's like one of my best friends.
Yeah, we love that.
So yes, we do love Ron. So when I watch like one of his dances, and I always like thinking about this dance, and it's to a song by a rap group called the Suicide Boys, and it's a song called "Kill Yourself Part 3." It's a really dark song, really depressing dark song, and I've heard that song many times before. And then when I watched him dance to it, I'd like. It's a video on YouTube, and it's a really great one. You should definitely watch it.
Okay.
And when I watched it, I was captivated. I was like literally captivated. And I'd never felt like that ever. I'd never felt like truly like lost in like an emotion before, and I was like, oh my god, this is insane. And I was so inspired, and I was like, I want to give this a shot. And I, thought about how am I gonna turn into like a dancer? How am I gonna start dancing? Right? I have like no coordination and nothing whatsoever. Like I this is gonna suck. So I whipped up stream one day, and I'm like, hey guys, by the way, I'm gonna learn how to dance. And they're like, what? Dance? I'm like, yeah, I want to try it. It looks like a lot of fun. And I was like try to do like a move or something, like over and over again. Like, yeah, this is not working. I can't do this. I suck at this or whatever. And I would like dance for a couple seconds, and like I look like an idiot or whatever. But I found that doing it on stream, not by myself, doing it on stream, having my viewers be like, there watching, and a lot of people be kind of nervous about that, but it actually gave me that confidence boost of like, holy cow, a lot of people see me go through this process of teaching myself how to do something, right? And I thought that was really, really special, kind of like a journey, I guess, kind of like a journey. And then I've met so many, like I would have met Sweet without dance, I wouldn't have met Ron without dance, and I think that it really stuck with me once I realized how much emotion you can put into dance, and how there are some things you can't do with words that you can do with your body to express an emotion.
Yeah.
Right? That you can't put it into words. So when you have like there's this one song, I don't know who it's by, it's called My Mind, and me and Sweet and Ron will meet all the time and go like, my mind, like it's a long story. But Ron dances to it, and when he dances to it, I almost cry. I'm not even kidding. Don't let him know I said that. But when he dances to it, he danced to it during the VRCon talent show, and I was like, oh my god, like it's so intense. And every time I dances to it, it's always just so impactful, and you don't like when I dance sometimes, and it hasn't happened in quite a while because I've been kind of in a slump, but when I dance, you almost black out sometimes, where like your emotions like take over, like your body like just starts moving on its own, and then you go and watch your dance back, and you're like, how did I do that? Like, and that's something any dancer can relate to, where they're like, holy cow, how did I do that? And that's me dancing right there, that's me doing it. And it's like it makes you feel, it's just like a whole different thing, like singing, right? Like singing, think about like singing, you get put into the same kind of category where like, everyone's got their own style of singing, everyone's got their own style of dance. And it's such a, I don't know, it's so exciting, and it makes me smile every time I think about dancing.
That's amazing. How would you I've asked you this, I haven't asked you this before, how would you if somebody asked you, like me, I'm genuinely asking you this, how would you go about just learning to dance, just doing it, just like, I guess I don't know, like
I think step one when it comes to like learning how to dance, in my opinion, is finding music that you enjoy. No one wants to dance music they don't like, right? So you have to find music that you genuinely enjoy listening to. I think that's totally step one. A lot of people think they have to like start listening to beats or whatever and start dancing to beats, and you can get there, but over time. Like when I first started dancing, I was dancing to like freaking The Cab. I was dancing to like freaking Zed. I was dancing like these like the weirdest songs ever. They were just like all random songs. I was dancing, and I still dance to NF. But finding music that that has a connection to you that's deeper than just how you like the sound. So where it's like an emotional attachment to the song, because dancing's emotion. It's a lot of emotion. Putting passion to your dance is like, is the most critical part of being a good dancer, is showing emotion.
Yeah.
And when you put on a song that makes you feel a certain way or brings up a specific emotion, you never listen to a song where you're just like holy cow, this is an amazing song. This is like so deep or whatever. That emotion comes out in your body movements, where you don't even have to think about it. Your body will move on its own, and you start to see things that you've never thought you could ever do before, and it's all because your emotion starts taking over. And then technique and technical skill and musicality, that stuff will come later on. But talking about the basics of getting started is moving your body to music that you enjoy and that makes you feel emotion, is an amazing place to start. And always record your sessions. You record your sessions. It's one thing about VRchat is you can put up a camera immediately and just watch it back. And then when you record it, you start to pick up on things, and you start to learn stuff about like what looks good to you, which is what's the most important part. If someone doesn't like the way that your dance looks, that shouldn't affect you. It should be how you want to present yourself, how you want to present your dance. Anyone will make fun of my dancing style because I do lots of pointing and lots of really cheesy things or whatever. But I enjoy the way I dance. Yeah. I think I have a lot of fun dancing, and that's the most important part, is having fun. Have to have fun when you dance. If you don't have fun, then there's no reason to be dancing anymore. So have fun with it, and it takes time. It definitely takes time to learn. And another thing I would say is having a mentor definitely helps. So someone who's involved in dance community, who has an understanding of dance and understanding what's important about dancing and what really is the fun parts about it, and attending ciphers, exploring music with the dancers and stuff. Like that's one of the best parts, of sharing beats with your friends. Where someone's like, oh my god, this song is crazy, and like then you'll try it out and you'll be like, oh my god, what are these sounds or whatever. So like you'll get to those places, but definitely getting your foot in the door by moving your body to a song that you enjoy.
Yeah, that's makes sense. I give people the same advice when they ask about singing or music, and that like in order to sing too, I mean, learn something that you're really passionate about. Think of a song that really actually affects your heart.
Yeah, emotion is incredible.
Yeah, or else it's not gonna come, and you're not gonna be motivated to do anything with it. Who was your dancing mentor? Was it Ron, or was it Sweet, or was it someone else?
Ron, Ron. So I used to send. So Ron rated me when I was like really on to streaming, and I was like, oh my god,
yeah,
I know who you are.
He did that to me. He's so sweet, such a sweet guy.
Yeah, and I didn't know that we'd end up being like really good friends. I think it's really funny that ended up that way. But I used to send him like. Essentially I would ask for a couple of small things, right? Because I didn't want to like be intrusive. Ask him for a couple of small things, like, hey, like how do you have your trackers set up and stuff? And he'd show me, and he'd be like, yeah, like this. And then I eventually started moving on to like sending him clips of my dances, where like, yeah, this is what I did today, which I look back at now, and they're like the worst dance clips ever of all time. Like they're so bad, But to be fair, it was like my first like week of dancing. Yeah, but I would like send him clips like every week or every session, and just kind of things that I enjoyed. The things that I liked, that I thought would look good, and then I started like kind of try to understand, well, what's the difference between what looks good and what doesn't look good? What is musicality? What is all these things? So pretty much someone that you can ask questions to, because a lot of it is technical. There's a lot of technical things when it comes to dance, but at the same time, if you're in that mindset of thinking there's so many technical things, someone who's been in dancing for a while and a mentor can shoot a lot of those ideas down and be like, listen, it's just about having fun. Stop thinking that way. Because a lot of times it's confidence issues. People think that like they have to be doing this specific move that has a name, right? That's one of the first things I thought, is that dancing, all dance moves had a name. So I thought like this was called like something, or like, tilting your head was called something. So I was like, what's this move called? And Ron's like, I have no idea what the hell it's called. It's just a thing, right? So that's like one of the most important things. Understand is that some moves just don't have names.
Yeah.
So that's a really, really important thing, and having a mentor really helps with that. And Ron and Sweet ended up being, well, Sweet's like currently my mentor now. I'd say like I've kind of evolved, but both of them together kind of really took me in and like involved me in the dance community, and like Jedin, and now I'm in like my own dance crew with them and stuff, and it's like
so cool.
I don't know, it's really awesome.
And you've only been dancing for what, like 5, 6 months now, maybe less. I don't.
It's been 4 months. It's been 4 months since I
4
started
months, which
dancing.
is incredible. You're on
But
a,
for the past
yeah.
month and a half, I kind of have been able to dance as much as I want. I can only dance like once
Oh.
every week and a half now
Is there a
because of my
reason?
knees.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, so I like busted my knees up really bad,
Oh,
and
no.
it sucks.
How'd that happen?
Dancing too much,
Okay.
overexerting myself.
Yeah.
When I first met Sweet, I danced for like 11 days straight,
Oh
and
my
not straight, but like
gosh.
I danced
Yeah,
each
yeah.
day for 11 days.
Oh my gosh.
And I overworked myself, and I ended up really messing my knees up. So know your limits. That's also
Know your
important. Listen to your body. Listen to your body. Don't say, oh, I want to dance anyway, and then keep freaking dancing. Bad idea. So
I remember. I
regret it.
remember when you first started dancing. You'd be like, I'm so tired, but I need to do it. I need to keep dancing. I need to dance. I need to dance.
That's basically how I was. Like, I want to learn and get better, because whenever I'm really competitive, whenever I want to pick something up, I always like really try really hard. And dancing is something that you can't do that in. You have to take your time. You can't just put your foot to the gas and go ham. But your body has limitations.
You also do it. You mentioned a talent show. Do you still, is that a regular thing for you? You host the talent show every month, or?
Yeah, I wouldn't say regular, but we've done 4,
Okay.
and then 5, including the VRCon one.
Yeah.
So I host them pretty often. So, but I would say the next one will be around Christmas, like Christmas time talent show. I have a secret idea that I'm working on in the background right now, but it's not a talent show, but it's a secret project.
Okay.
That you'll find out about soon. I'll tell you like after we're done the interview,
exciting.
actually,
Okay.
about my idea.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I do like hosting talent shows. I think it's fun. It's really fun to get together. And who doesn't love talent shows, right?
Sure.
No, there's not a single person out there who would be like, I would hate talent shows.
Yeah. Is it open, or is it just people you know?
Yeah.
that you invite? It's open. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's open. Anyone,
Yeah.
whenever I host a talent show, anyone's allowed to join. I always like, ping my server and stuff with like a sign up sheet.
And is
So.
it anything? I mean, I've seen musicians and dancers. But it's
Anything, literally
or
anything. Doesn't
poems or
matter.
Okay, cool.
Doesn't matter. Poems, acting,
Cool.
joke telling. If you want to go up there and dab, whatever. It's just all open format and for fun. Always for fun, because it's just fun. It's always a good time.
I'm just gonna grab some water real quick.
Yeah, sure.
This has been really great so far. We've been talking for like an hour. I do have a couple more questions for you, and I don't know if there's anything else that
sure.
you'd want to talk about, but I guess
Whatever you got. Whatever you
Whatever
got
I
for me. I
okay. Well, lately,
love answering questions.
This
So
is a fun one, which is I've noticed you started freestyling with Heat, which I think is something awesome and something I want to be part of. I would love to come freestyle, and I want to dance too, but I would love to freestyling. I think it's something I've always wanted to do, and I haven't heard all year, as you would say, gay themed freestyles.
you don't want to listen to my freestyles.
I do want to listen to your freestyles because it's another way of expressing yourself that is also outside of. They're so, and like, the times I've actually practiced freestyling, I can relate to that because like my mind will just go to like dirty jokes for whatever reason.
Why do we do that?
I don't know. I mean, like, in rapping and in freestyle, I feel like you're in this kind of, maybe not fantasy world, but you can talk about anything you want. Like, some people talk about violence, and people talk about shooting people, selling drugs, making money.
Yeah.
And you and me, I guess, we're talking about
We talk about
gay
fucking
stuff.
bees and bees. Just yeah, I don't know.
But if it makes you laugh, if it makes you laugh, if it's the first thing you think of, like,
I think that's how I would be, just like a funny rapper where you just rap
Yeah.
about really stupid stuff. Like,
I
we
love
named
that,
my rap
though.
name is Two Socks. It's just
Two Socks?
so
Wait,
dumb.
Wait, what does that mean?
I don't know where it came from. I don't remember where it came from, but that's my rap name, Two Socks.
Two Socks. Does Sweet have a rap name? That's so good. I like Two Socks.
I think he said Sweet Heat. I think we talked about it. He's like,
Just
yeah, I
Sweet
just want to be Sweet Heat. Yeah.
Because I remember the first
Yes, but
stream,
freestyling
yeah.
is, God,
It's fun.
It's a
It seems
whole,
fun.
whole adventure. Yeah, for sure.
I know you're freestyling, but would you ever like I don't know what it's called, but would you just write your own lyrics too sometimes? Like, sweet told.
Probably not.
Probably
I
not.
probably
Okay.
wouldn't. No, I think like I mainly do it because it's funny. It's like just like funny to rip
Yeah.
out like and everyone hates it. Everyone hates my freestyle because
I
it's always
love
so
it.
terrible.
I love it.
So it makes
I love
people
it.
laugh and
Yeah.
I
Makes you
enjoy it that
laugh.
way. In that way,
Yeah.
it's so stupid. I can't watch them or listen to them back because they're so bad. It makes me cringe. But
Yeah.
everyone's always like, "Oh no, Kuro's about to freestyle again." And everyone's just like, "Stop!" So it makes me laugh.
We should have a time where we freestyle together. And I can both be.
Oh yeah,
both
no,
be cringe.
absolutely. I would be so down. We have to do
Aw.
that.
I guess my closing thoughts. I guess. Thank you so much for doing this. By the way, this has been amazing. Like, you are one of
Aw,
the most.
yes, thank you for the opportunity. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. A lot of times I get to be asked questions a lot, so I love it. I love talking, so.
Do you have any like goals right now for the future, or like anything that I guess you're planning something, or at least that you're excited about. But
Yeah, I'm
anything
planning a
outside?
secret project.
Yeah.
But I'd say as far as personal goals is I want to just keep doing what I'm doing. Like I want to
Yeah.
be stable, if that makes sense.
Of course.
I want to be
yeah.
able to, still be here tomorrow. That's all. I just want to be here
I know,
tomorrow.
that's
I think
an
it's like
amazing goal,
take
and I
it
think
one day at a time.
Yeah, I don't think people
Yeah.
think of life that way enough, and that like you don't have to think 10 years
Mhm.
ahead, or if you're gonna be happy.
Yeah.
I need to do this, so I'll be happy in 3 years. Just think about today and tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's-
I'm happy now, right?
Yeah,
I'm
you're
happy
happy
now. I'm
now,
happy today, and
so-
that's the most important thing. So
No.
I think as far as my goals go, is just I can just make it to tomorrow, make it to the next day, next week, next month, whatever. Like I'm
Yeah.
good. Cause I like I said, I'm living the dream. I'm living the dream. There's so many people that would be like, kill to have what I have now, right?
Sure, yeah.
And I think this is I never want to take it for granted. Like whatever I have right now, I never want to take it for granted. It's the best thing. So
Well, I guess that's all the questions I have. Is there anything else?
yay! That's all. Ogirls is cute and adorable and
You're cute.
so
and
sweet.
adorable.
So
You're sweet.
thank you for being literally my first streaming friend. So
Really? Was
you.
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Really?
it was. Remember when I went to
I
you and
do
I talked to you about how,
remember
like,
that.
I didn't want to be friends with anyone. I was like, I hate people.
Oh, I do
Yeah,
remember
that's-
that. You're like, other streamers are
basically-
garbage. They're all fake. And
Yeah,
I just
no,
am
that's
so
not what I
sick
said.
of
Oh my
streamers.
god, okay, I said they're fake. I said a lot
You
of people are
did
definitely
say
fake.
that.
I definitely said that.
And there are a lot of
I
fake
definitely said
people
that.
out there. Not to name names. I
Oh,
was gonna make a
God.
joke, but no. I love
Oh my
all my
God.
streamer friends. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Thank you so
being
much
here.
for the
And remember,
opportunity.
NFFC. What time is it on Fridays?
Every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern.
10
Discord.gg slash
Eastern.
okaykuro.
Okay, yeah, and they just add
Yes,
you
if
and
you wanna
request off
enter.
you, and
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay.
We have a little chat channel in there, so
then your Twitch.
if you ever want to join, feel free.
Twitch is just twitch.tv/okaykuro.
Twitch.tv slash okaykuro.
Okay,
Okay,
girl.
girl.
Man,
People arrive. Make sure you
arrive.
people arrive.
I do
God.
your impression of me all the time. 'Cause I think it's so. I
Your
love
impression
you.
of me doing
People
your impression.
arrive. I love you so
God.
much. Can we get a shout out for Cora?
People arrive. Can
I'm
we get a
just
shout out
like,
for okaykuro? Oh
Wow,
my
that's
god.
pretty-
People arrive. Wow. Kuro, how was your stream? Oh, Sweetie too. Oh my God, Sweetie, hi.
I love sweet.
People
love
leave.
pizza.
Oh no.
Oh
Come
my
back.
People leave. Aw.
People leave.
Oh, the cutest.
Can't ever give my O-girls impression. Can never give that up.
But yeah, please never do. I honestly love it. I love when people roast me and do impressions of me. And I think it's so funny.
Oh my god, your Pokemon card. Insert
Oh, I
streamer
love
name
that.
here.
I love that.
God.
Are you doing more of those, by the way? I love those streamer cards.
I need
that you
to.
made.
Yes,
those
I
are
need.
so
I have
funny.
a few people that will ask me for them. I definitely have to. You remind me. You just reminded me. I'm gonna do them. I'm gonna do them tonight. I'll finish
Okay.
them up.
Well, that's it. This is okaykuros. They're amazing. Thank you again so much for being
Yeah.
here. Um,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you for having
We'll
me.
see you guys later. Bye.
Goodbye. Hey, 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 hey. Alright, no one saw that.
Is that okay? That's it. Okay. People leave.